Hi again, everybody. This video is sponsored by a contribution from Jennifer, and here's her story. My story is a hard one to know where to begin. My name is Jennifer, and I'm 28 years old. I have always been a free thinker and questioner. With an open mind, I've always been attracted to arts, theater, painting, drawing, and poetry. While discovering my love for art, I found my place as a teenager. I became attracted to the dark side of life and found my place amongst the freaks, the outcasts, the goths. I was very dorky as a child who only wanted to be liked and fit in, but I was picked on at home and at school. I will start from the beginning. Both my parents grew up in narcissistic households as the least favored child. My mother has a twin brother who grew up to be a very successful millionaire businessman. My mother's parents favored their son. My father's very young parents abandoned their two sons as toddlers and let the foster home system take over till my father was about 8, at which time my father's parents separated and my grandfather started a new family with 2 daughters. My grandfather spoiled his 2 daughters and wasn't in the picture in his 2 sons' lives. So my parents met and got married in college, both working towards a teaching degree. My father was the full-ride football star party animal in college. My mother was super into Christian church. They still claim to this day they didn't consummate married until 6 months after they got married. Wow. Mr. Football Frat Boy Party Animal waited 6 months after he married her? Wow. The fairy tales the narcissist will tell. They had me 2 years into their marriage while they were still in school. My mother claims I was surprised and she had to drop out of college because of me. My childhood has some good memories, like going on vacations. Wait a minute. Are you telling me that this narcissistic bitch has the fucking audacity to sit there and try to tell you they didn't fuck to consummate their marriage for 6 months after they were married in college, but then somehow got pregnant with you in college? And it's your fault because of it. Why not just wait till you're out of college? I mean, come on. I mean, the absurdity. The amount of thoughtful care that would be behind that alleged decision not to have sex for 6 months out of marriage, after marriage, but then to get married, then to get pregnant while still in college. Come on, man. It's ridiculous. My childhood has some good memories, like going on vacations a lot. However, the bad far outweighs the good. My first memory involves my mother. I was about 3 to 4 years old. I was sitting on my bed crying while my mother started shaking me as hard as she could by the shoulders. So hard that my neck would snap, swinging my head, causing my chin to hit my chest, while screaming at me, "You are a piece of shit. What the fuck is wrong with you?" AKA shaken baby syndrome. I don't know or remember if I was hospitalized or not. However, there has been a long-term emotional scarring because of this. I confronted my mother about this as a teenager. She was shocked I remembered this. She proceeded to tell me that I was crying for hours that day because she wouldn't let me play on the playground by myself at one of my father's football games. And she didn't know what to do with me because I wouldn't stop crying. She didn't own up to do anything wrong, nor apologize. She blamed me for crying as a toddler. And that's the thing with these narcissists, why you don't argue with them. Because you will stop and you will find you are defending your actions as a toddler, as a child, even as a teenager. You're defending actions or decisions you made at 2 to 15, 16 years old. When the fucking logical response would be, I'm a child. You don't shake me until my neck snaps. My younger brother, the golden child, was born 2 years after me. They finally got the son they always wanted. He was a straight-A student, popular, a great athlete. As the golden child, he suffered abuse from a different angle. He was expected to play sports without a choice. I am sure he has more memories of abuse growing up than I can remember. My father, a big man himself, was the year-round sports coach. Within any given school year, he coaches football, basketball, and track. Oh God, he must have loved you walking around. It's the goth chick, huh? I will share 2 of the worst memories of abuse in sports my brother suffered at the hands of my parents. First memory, he was 4 or 5 playing t-ball. During one particular game, he performed very well on a very rainy, muddy day. He got a home run and got covered in mud. After the game, my mother was very concerned with the car getting dirty, so they forced him to walk home alone in the rain. We lived about a half mile from the baseball field, and they left him there bawling. For a small child, that was very cruel. You know, I got yelled at a lot for my football uniforms and my baseball uniforms being dirty. What did you get? Another tactic of the narcissist. Something I didn't even block out, but I would have never even given another thought of. The muddy football practice uniforms, the dirty baseball uniforms, because I was always in the dirt. I was always in the dirt playing baseball. I was a head-first slider. It was never a great feat. If I can slide feet, and you know, if you know anything about baseball, if you're a head-first slider, you stay sliding head-first no matter what. And your father's the coach and allowed that? What a sack of shit. Your father's the coach. The coaches teach you to get down and dirty, play hard. Muddy uniform is a thing to be proud of in any sport. It means you played hard. And the coach makes them walk home? Another bag of dicks. I hope there's like a tongue piercing in this story for you, and because that would really would have pissed them off. Second memory. My brother was slightly chunky in middle school. While camping, my parents dropped him off 2 miles from camp in the heat with no water. They told him, "You are fat, you need to lose weight if you want to be a good defensive lineman. You can't eat dinner until you run back to camp." It seems my brother's life was planned for him, and he never strayed from the path that was put before him. While I fought tooth and nail to be free and have my own thoughts and become my own unique individual. Religion has always played a big nasty role while growing up. I grew up attending strict Southern Baptist churches. Religion was more my mother's saddle. I indulged deeply in the Christianity here and there throughout the years. While I wasn't very successful in their eyes at sports, religion was the one area I could indulge on to please my parents. My mother bribed me to get into getting baptized as a child, promising me that I would get a new dress and be the center of attention for a day, and they would take me out for dinner. Wait, what? Your mother's this heavy-duty Christian, but she didn't have you baptized until you were old enough to be dealt with and bribed with a dress? I know, that is fucked up. I mean, do you not see the total hypocrisy of your mother's entire deal? It makes no sense. The very next month, I signed up to get baptized, of course. This, in my opinion, is now wrong. Baptism should be the individual's choice. More or less, but if your mother's super Christian, how does she not have her child baptized? And this is following her own book, not mine. If you're unbaptized, and according to her religion, or you don't go to heaven if something happens. You die. You go to like limbo or something. Is that what it is? Yeah, limbo. Think about that. How strongly your mother apparently believes in Christianity, but she applied none of it until she could use it to manipulate you. Kept you in a state of limbo. In the eyes of her religion, I mean, for what she believes. Why didn't she have you baptized right away? Like everybody else does. Old enough to bribe you with a dress and sign up to get baptized all that time? And I'm only going by her religion, what she says. She waited until, I guess, the baptism could probably benefit her and make her look good. Up until then, I mean, she's under the belief that if something were to happen to you, if you were to die, you wouldn't get into heaven. And you'd be in a state of perpetual limbo. And I'm not saying that, preaching that. I'm just saying what the facts are of her religion. Says a lot. I had a true snapping point that made me see through the fog and question everything I was ever taught by my mother. During summer break, I was about 12-ish. My mother and I were watching some show where a blonde girl was talking for several minutes about how awesome and wonderful her boyfriend is. Then the show introduces her boyfriend as an extremely dark African-American man. My mother screams at the TV, "I can't believe he's black." Confused, I say, "What's wrong with that?" She says, "Jesus said in the Bible that black people and white people can't marry each other." Really? Oh, Lord. The bitch knows Jesus wasn't white, right? I don't think he was black. I think he was like some kind of Middle Eastern Arab dude. He wasn't white. Confused, I say, "What's wrong?" Says, "Oh, wait, hold on." Truly curious at this point, I ask, "I never heard that before. What verse in the Bible says that?" My mother screams, "What, you think there's nothing wrong with a black man marrying a white woman?" And bitch slapped me so hard across the face it left a mark. It was truly at this point I truly started to question all the religious bullshit they had shoved down my throat. That wasn't the question. The question was what passage? And your answer was a slap across the face? Narcissists think they're God. They think they're Jesus. They think they're God. How dare you question the word of Slappy McJesus here. That's your mom's new name. It's my gift back to you for the contribution. Slappy McJesus is your mom. That's how you should refer to her from here on in. So Slappy McJesus over here, trust me. Trust me. You'll love it. She loved to dress me in clothes that were way outdated. Forced me to get perms from a very young age. I was a foot taller than all the boys and girls my age for a very long time. She dressed me in styles that were popular in the early 80s when she was a kid, which only made me more unpopular at school. Yep, been there, done that. Been there, done that. My mother used to try to dress ridiculously. The abuse I suffered at the hands of other students was pretty brutal, and I could write a novel about it all. I will save that for possibly another time. Alcohol has played another role in my abuse. My father is an alcoholic. I believe my father is the worst of the two. So many more horrible memories of abuse have stemmed from his evil soul. Some are very foggy. When I was in elementary school, my dad drank while driving with me and my brother in the car, and one of his friends who was also a teacher. As bizarre as this sounds, the other teacher became my principal a decade later. That must have been tough to discipline you. Hey, remember 10 years ago when you were drunk driving with my dad in the car? My dad would often drink heavy at home and then take my brother and I on scenic drives with no destination. I have memories of this man force-feeding me taco meat at the age of 4 because I didn't want to eat meat. He would often force me and my brother to do wall sits till our legs gave out and/or push-ups as punishment in elementary school while drinking beer and evilly laughing at us. To this day, I still can't do wall sits without it bringing back horrible memories. My dad once stabbed me with a fork at the dinner table, all because I stood up for myself when he was scapegoating me in my early teens. I hate to keep saying this about everybody's fucking father like this, but your father's another closeted homosexual. Your father's another closeted homosexual. Maybe that's how he went 6 months, if it's true, without banging your mother after he was married. He would often sit me down in my teenage years to have interventions about my weight. He's gay. Another one. Well, please just come out of the closet, you fucking down low fucking... Oh, you down low homosexuals. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being gay. There really isn't. But these guys are so fucking damaging. Especially to their daughters. Because the same way the mother sees the daughter as a competition, the father sees the daughter as almost competition. And it's like jealousy of her. Telling me I was fat, lazy, ugly, and needed to be more athletic like my brother, who also got fat. Right? Eating's a sign of depression. When I would start crying, he would scream, "You're being an emotional bitch. Go in your fucking room and be lazy like you always do." These sit-down interventions about my weight happened well over 20 times. I wasn't even fat. I weighed 140 at 5'11". The summer I was 13, I was determined not to be called fat, so I starved myself and threw up what I did eat. While my parents didn't call me fat, they still called me lazy and criticized me for not being athletic like my brother. I got down to 120 pounds, very thin. I finally decided to stop throwing up what I ate. when my body was throwing everything up without force. It scared me. I told my parents about starving myself or throwing up. They either didn't know or didn't care. They killed my self-esteem, and I still struggle with it to this day. I don't understand how someone could mentally torture their child like this, especially at a vulnerable age, a vulnerable young teenage girl. I was literally forced to go out for track my first year of high school. I decided to rebel and was determined to be an embarrassment so I would never be forced to play sports again. I refused to run during practice and walked with the super slow kids. I only participated in shot put and discus. During my matches, I would purposely throw the shot put 8 feet or less, and often misthrow the discus out of the sidelines. Let's just say I was the worst kid on the team and was never forced to join a sport again. I started turning the boys early on because they showed me attention I so desired. Sex was never discussed seriously at home, even though my father was taught sex ed. Thank goodness I didn't have him as a sex ed teacher, unlike my brother. Everything I learned about sex, I learned firsthand. So your father's a sex ed teacher for high school students, and he's having these sit-down interventions with his daughter? My father would make lots of sexual jokes. However, we were never allowed to do it, no matter what it was absolutely forbidden. Abstinence was heavily preached. Thankfully, the boys I dated growing up were all in long-term relationships. Otherwise, I probably would have slept around a lot. I was very smart about not getting pregnant. I'm not sure he ever sexually abused me, but I have two memories that make me question. The first memory is foggy and peeked his ugly head out one day after I left home. I was 5 or 6 taking a shower in his bathroom when my mom was gone. He was sitting on the toilet watching me through the frosted glass door. I tried to get out of the shower several times, but he wouldn't let me get out until the water got ice cold. His voice sounded weird while he was yelling at me to stay in the shower. I don't know if he was jerking off or if he was going to the bathroom, but it was a seriously weird memory. Why is he going in the bathroom to begin with when his teenage daughter is taking a shower? This is exactly what Charlene's father used to do to her. The second odd memory in high school. One night, I was in my room wearing shorts. It was summer. My dad sat on the edge of the bed, heavily breathing. He had a very evil look in his eyes and didn't say a word. He leaned over and grabbed my inner thigh muscle as hard as he could. I cried, "Ow, that hurts." Luckily, Mom happened to open the door that very minute and started screaming at my dad. My father loved using the Bible as a way to back his bullshit abuse. I was taught women are subservient to men naturally. That is the way God made women. Women were to do all the housework. I kind of think this is the reason my mom was so unhappy and lashed out at me all the time. Her and I were forced to do all the housework. People always thought I was older than I was growing up. I matured faster than most kids my age. Not sure if it was genetics for being so tall, or if it was due to all the abuse that forced me to become a mini adult early on. In middle school, I acted and looked like a high schooler. In high school, I looked like I had the mindset of someone in their 20s. This was due to my childhood. Was this due to my childhood being stolen? Yeah, obviously. I acted the same way. You're forced to be an adult. And your father's really sick and dangerous. We moved around a lot growing up, mostly lived in very small towns. My sophomore year in high school, we moved to a bigger area. My parents got jobs at a small school in the next town over. They decided to allow me to attend the big high school they were not teaching at. I found myself that year. I became free and was able to explore who I was. I hung out with the outcasts, the LGBT students, and the drama kids. I met my future husband here. He was 3 years older than me. We became close very quickly. We spent every waking moment we possibly could together. We just knew 3 months into the relationship we wanted to be together for the rest of our lives. He asked me to marry him. Mind you, I was only 16, he was 19, but I said yes. We kept our engagement secret for 3 years. He was a beacon of light for me during the darkest of times. However, the last 2 years at home were the worst. My parents abused my boyfriend as well. My dad would often put him in headlock, taunting, "I could take you out whenever I want." My mom would often tell me, "If you ever want to marry that boy, you will live like trailer trash." Who the fuck is he to put his hands on anyone? This is the problem with these fucking closeted homosexual high school coaches. They're like fucking puppy dogs with hard-ons they don't know what to do with. Always got to be fucking touching her. Like, stop touching me. Go touch another guy on the wrestling mat, because that's what you want to be doing. I kept a diary like most teenage girls. I decided to write some fake scary stories involving suicide letters in it just in case somebody were to read it. I kept it behind my dresser because my parents were very nosy. Privacy didn't exist. One day, my boyfriend and his parents took us to the state fair. It was an all-day event. My parents took it upon themselves to rearrange my room and go through everything. I mean everything in my room. Reading my diary and all my love letters and poems. When I got home super late, Mother told me they rearranged my room and they read my diary, hid my brother's guns, and would be having a talk in the morning. I asked her, "Why did you read my diary?" She responded, "Because God wanted us to." Familiar story. I didn't sleep a wink that night, neither did my parents. I could hear them talking evil things about me behind my back most of the night. The next day they sat down with me. They were more concerned about my sex life than the possibility I may have been suicidal. The conversation went like this. Keep in mind, I was willing to do and agree to anything so long as they would let me keep seeing my boyfriend. Mom, your father and I have decided you are no longer bisexual. Me, okay. Well, Mom, while crying, how could you do this to us? How could you be bisexual? What would Jesus say? Dad, you didn't get the gayness from anyone on my side. Must be your mom's side. She has a guy cousin. You will be a gay cousin. You will be attending the high school we teach at, so we can keep an eye on you. You see where your father went to? It ain't me who's gay. Yeah, it is, motherfucker. Yeah, it is. Told you. I told you. Mom, you know we have to call your best friend's parents and never allow her over here again because you wrote you had sex with her. And I'm going to explain to her parents. Me, I don't know. I read you're not a virgin. Did you have sex with your current boyfriend? Me, no. Dad, how do we know? I proceeded to tell them a personal embarrassing story about my boyfriend's parents catching us foreplaying, which was true. Mom, that's disgusting. Dad, your mom and I never had sex until 6 months after we got married. Because you're gay! You're gay! You were fucking crossing swords with your frat buddies. You fucking McPoleSmoker. I should make you never see your boyfriend again. I could press charges against him since he's an adult and you're a minor. Me, if you do that, I will disown you and wait till he gets out and never talk to you again. Dad, well, you'll have to talk with your boyfriend. Well, we will have to talk with your boyfriend and his parents. You will only be able to see him in public places, and his parents have to be home if you go over there. Later that day, they had an embarrassing talk with my boyfriend and his parents. It was very humiliating and embarrassing. Anyhow, my boyfriend's parents are so supportive and loving and open-minded. I could talk to them about anything. I often vented to them about my parents' abuse. They told me I was the daughter they never had and treated me with respect and attention I so desired. They were stronger parental figures than my own parents. After this episode, things got way worse. My boyfriend graduated high school but remained living at home with his parents while working. My father would often call me a lesbian and got angry and laugh at me when I was upset. Every day for 6 months straight, my father would tell me how selfish I am. No explanation as to how or why he thought this way, or just tell me, you are selfish, over and over. I was a numb zombie at home, and the new small town high school because I couldn't get away from them or their abuse. My mother strongly encouraged me to try out for cheerleading. Nothing felt less appealing to me except perhaps playing sports again to please my father. I started hanging around a few artsy goth girls at school. My mother saw me with them one day. My mom pulled me inside the library. She was the high school librarian and asked me, how can you hang out with those devil worshippers? You are embarrassing me and your father. What do you think the other teachers think? You should start hanging out with so-and-so. Started naming some of the snottiest popular girls. I decided I would rather have no friends than hang out with the people she wanted me to. I chose to be friendless. I still have my older boyfriend and his family to cling on to on weekends. Says a lot for the state of teaching too. What are the other teachers going to think of the goth kids? I started painting and expressing my emotions in art. Much to my parents' displeasure, my art did not match their tastes. They criticized me for spending too much time on it at home. It was the only release I had at home because I wasn't allowed to stand up for myself and got punished for showing emotions. My feelings were invalid and didn't matter. I started developing my own style, the dark style. The devil-worshipping style, as my mother calls it. As soon as they started noticing my darker makeup and clothes, they absolutely forbid it and refused to let me express myself. One Christmas, my parents asked me what I wanted. I said a trench coat. My mother says, you will never get one because God wouldn't want you to worship the devil. I respect God. God wouldn't want you to be married to a gay dude, bitch. How about that? Your Bible says that, you hypocritical cunt. Fucking Slappy McJesus. Married to another fucking closeted gay guy. I responded, my boyfriend wears one and he doesn't worship the devil. I will get one after I turn 18 and wear it every day. My father says, this goth shit is just a phase and you will grow out of it. I said, we'll see. Hey, wait a minute. Coachy McPoleSmoker. You two are all so hyped up on God and Jesus, you're not supposed to curse. That's a sin. Why is that allowed? The goth shit. Explain that one, Coachy McPoleSmoker. I said, we'll see. My last high school dance I went to with my boyfriend, we decided we would go gothic. We wore black slacks, black dress shirt with a skull tie. I wore a poofy black spaghetti strap dress trimmed in pink that went past the knees, with calf-high boots that had 2-inch heels on them. The makeup I wore was very modest. It was light foundation with gray eyeshadow and pink lipstick. No eyeliner or mascara. My boyfriend was in the living room with my parents before the dance. When I came downstairs, my mother screamed at me while laughing. "You look like a dominatrix. Ha ha, go change. Right now, you're never leaving the house like that." In shock, nearly tears, I changed my shoes and left in a hurry. How can my family feel justified in stiffing their kids' growth and individuality? When I When I would come home from dates, my father would oftentimes come up to me in his underwear, drunk, grab my shoulders really hard, shaking me, demanding if I had been out having sex. Your video about narcs and their pets was spot on for me. My parents have always had super yappy Yorkies. They even bred them a few times. They never trained their dogs and would allow them to walk on the dinner table as we ate. They overfeed their pets. The last Yorkie they adopted gained 2 pounds the first month. My dad often French kisses the dogs. But bestiality was a sin. Coachy McPoleSmoker. Also being inappropriate with your children. How does that line up? My mom shares her cereal and milk with the dogs, feeding them with the same spoon she eats. So she wouldn't accept your dad's dick for 6 months. But she'll share a spoon with a fucking dog? These guys are legends, man. We gotta get your parents and my parents together. They should go bowling. They should totally go bowling. So, of course, at the age of 14, when I rescued a stray kitten, I had no idea, no guidance how to train it. I love this orange tabby cat with turquoise eyes named Jasper. I had it for 3 months. When Christmas rolled around, my kitten kept climbing on the Christmas tree, breaking my mom's expensive ornaments. On Christmas Eve, Jasper peed in my aunt's suitcase. My mom decided to rip the cat from my arms to drop it off in the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere at night, abandoning it. We lived in a very secluded mountain town at this time. There was 8 inches of snow on the ground that night. I once again became a zombie, showing no emotion. My parents yelled at me on Christmas for not showing more excitement at their gifts and acted like they didn't understand why I was upset. It still haunts me to this day that they abandoned Jasper on Christmas Eve of all nights. I recently confronted my parents about this, and they didn't own up to doing anything wrong. My mom only claimed to be allergic to cats, which is true. However, if she was allergic, she shouldn't have let me adopt it in the first place. Crazy they have always loved making jokes about killing cats. Yet they treat their dogs better than their own daughter. As time went on closer to my 18th birthday, my parents would force me to go to church. My boyfriend would attend so he could spend more time with me. I would have to sit through whole sermons about how wrong gays are. I got a job in high school and started preparing to move out. I couldn't stand the way they treated me. It was getting ridiculous. My father started putting Bible verses in my locker, the ones claiming kids should honor their mother and father, when I started standing up for myself. Shortly after my 18th birthday, my boyfriend and I went apartment shopping together after school, getting both our names on a lease. We opened up a joint checking account. Then the drama of me moving out happened. I'm sure you can imagine the shitstorm. It's a long story. Let's just say I got the police escort when I collected my stuff because my parents were so unpredictable. I wasn't sure if there would be violence. My mother cried, asking me how I could do this to her. Show her this video. Slappy McJesus. You can go back to the beginning. Living with a man before marriage is so wrong. You have to tell your religious grandmother. Please tell me you are going to marry this man, blah, blah, blah. The whole family was appalled by my actions. My uncle offered to hide our shamefulness by paying a quick, rushed wedding in 2 weeks. We refused. I graduated, which was hard because I had to face my parents every day at school. However, I never felt more free being away from their emotional abuse. I kept my distance and talked to them as little as possible. A year after I graduated, my younger brother was forced to transfer high schools. To the bigger high school, I was forced to leave so he could get more exposure for football scholarships. He got a full ride scholarship, offers from top schools all over the country, and became my parents' super golden child. My boyfriend and I decided to get married in 2007 when I was 19. My parents told me they would refuse to help me pay for the wedding if we didn't get married in a church. My boyfriend and I didn't really care too much where we got married, as long as we had the wedding. We first tried to get married at the church my parents attended, but the pastor refused to marry us because we were living together before marriage. Good! Good! Explained to him we were trying to do the right thing and get married. I even explained my parents were emotionally abusive. Where does it say in Christianity if you live together you can't be forgiven and get married? That's the whole tenet of Christianity. The pastor still refused. We really truly wanted to get married outside. However, we decided to choose the oldest, most Gothic-looking church in town to get married in. We had a small, beautiful wedding that was done on a $2,000 budget. Everything from the cake, venue, wedding attire, food for the guests, honeymoon, and rings. The reason I am mentioning details about the wedding is because my brother got married 2 months ago, and the wedding was huge in comparison to mine. No surprise there. They had 7 bridesmaids and 7 groomsmen. My father paid for the groomsmen to get custom suits made that each member could keep. They had Thai food catered to the wedding and went to Alaska for their honeymoon. They got married in a beautiful hall that looked like a giant wooden cabin, aka not a church. While I'm happy my younger brother had a beautiful wedding, I did confront my parents a few months prior, asking them why they refused to support my wedding if it wasn't in a church, but didn't hold my brother to the same standards. My parents had no hardcore answer for me. Well, they never do. They claimed it was because I got married in summer. No real grief was given to my brother for living with his girlfriend before marriage. The unfair treatment between my brother and I is incredible. 6 months after I got married, my super healthy mother suffered a rare type of massive stroke at the age of 43. She lost use of her right arm and had to learn how to walk and talk again. This forced my father to take over household responsibilities and be the only source of income. This changed her personality. She acts helpless and meek, however, is still emotionally abusive, but it's done in a sweet voice now instead of screaming. 3 years ago, I broke down to my grandmother on my dad's side about how my parents favor my brother over me, pointing out how when you walk through doors of their house, they have over a dozen photos of my brother, but only 2 small frame photos of me at the bottom of their wall. My grandma must have truly seen it and confronted my parents about it. 3 weeks after my grandmother's visit, my father gave me a pathetic bribe to shut me up. He surprised me with a car and told me, "I bought you a car so you can no longer say we favor your brother over you." Oh, they did the same thing to me when they bought me that Cavalier, that convertible. Or they leased it in their name and they still controlled it, but whatever. Oh, they love going to the car when they're really called out on something, huh? The interesting thing is, I didn't need a car at the time. My husband restores hearses, which most of my family finds embarrassing, but it fits our style. My dad bought me a Volkswagen Beetle. We are responsible for the repairs and had a shit ton of problems from the beginning, and they were very expensive to fix. You don't got to tell me about the Beetle. They fall apart, and they are expensive parts. We had to replace the starter and the radiator 2 times in the first 6 months. I'm not trying to sound selfish, but this car became a trap to stay in contact with my parents. I am now forced to see them once a month to pay for insurance. I fell for this trap before I knew what NPD was. This car is a constant reminder of the abuse I suffered. I wish I could give it back to them, but I don't want to come off as a selfish jerk. They also use this car to brag about how good of parents they are towards me and the rest of the family while calling me poor. I'm not poor. I may not be super wealthy, but I did buy my first home at the age of 19. I'm currently staying no contact with my parents. I rarely answer their calls and keep my visits very short. It takes my dad no time to start scapegoating me when I come to visit. My father's alcoholism has grown way worse over the years. It's the point now where my mother says she doesn't know what he's like sober anymore. He only drinks alone. Family members are starting to question his behavior and think I should step in more to help him. And I should step in more to help out more with my mom. All our family is spread across the U.S. I only live 2 miles from my parents. Well, let me ask you this. Where are all these people to step in for you? But now they want to go and tell you, you need to step in. You don't need to step in for shit. And let me tell you something. You should give back that car because you don't need it. You don't need it. It's convenient. You don't need it. Give it back. Cut all contact because this is only going to get worse. Listen, man, your husband repairs hearses. May you get his hands on an old hearse, you drive around and it'd be friggin' you make it up and you do it right, man. Think about that. If you were driving around in like a nice souped up hearse that your husband did, you know, put whatever effects, you personalize it or whatever you want, make a gothic car. Come on, man, that's the ultimate. Fuck you. Fuck you. And I already know what I'm going to use as the thumbnail for this. So just know this, it's only how I view you. And the thumbnail of this video is the reaction to her for what I'm going to name it. And you know the title now, but you'll see. Dude, and rock it. Drive around and rock it. Figure out a way to get rid of that car. Because that car is the last friggin' anything. You know, they had a stroke, okay. She made her bed, though, with this dude. And him and his alcoholism. Consequences. Consequences. Let them face their consequences. I have recently learned my lesson. I can't even share my joys in life with them because they will shit all over it. About 6 months ago, I shared with them I got a raise. They pressured me to share with them how much I was making. I didn't want to tell them the exact amount. My dad insisted for over 20 minutes, calling me selfish and accusing me of hiding secrets. It's none of your business. This is what narcissists do. They want to get in every aspect of your life. Finally told him the amount. He then laughed at me and told me, you will never make as much as I do in your entire life. I make $60K a year. Ha ha ha. My husband and I have very rewarding jobs. My mother often embarrasses me when other family is present in her house. She will start filling grocery bags of old freezer-burned food. She doesn't want anyone claiming we need it because we are poor. It's to the point now sometimes I start having full-blown panic attacks before I have to see them. I am not close to my brother and I hardly know him anymore since he lives a few states away. I want to talk to him about our abuse growing up. But I'm afraid he will turn on me. I'm sure he will. While documenting my story, I realize I have a 3-year gap in my memory from the ages of 7 to 9. Wonder what that's all about. My adult life has taken a toll from the abuse. I'm socially awkward most of the time, while my husband is very patient and kind. I have some issues that has caused some problems in our marriage. I say sorry constantly for every small thing. On the rare occasions I fight, I say sorry over and over, even if it's not my fault. I also have very random flashbacks and childhood nightmares of childhood. When people are upset around me, I automatically assume it was because of something I did. I annoy my husband by asking him too frequently, do you love me? Are you mad at me? I have fear of having children, even after 9 happy years of marriage. I am afraid I will pass along the abuse to my future kids. Or my parents will abuse my children if they are still in the picture. I refuse to be miserable forever, and I am trying to take on a warrior point at this point of view. I still have a long life ahead of me. How would you recommend healing from this abuse? Will the pain and the memories ever go away? Thanks so much for listening to my super long story. I really appreciate all you do, Ollie. Okay. I will tell you what your answer is here, Jennifer. To what's going on in your marriage, and what's going on and how you heal from the abuse. And this is me looking at you, looking at what's on your Facebook page and reading your story. You like the dark stuff, you like that goth stuff, man. Own it. Own it. Don't let anybody, you see, the problem is every time you're worrying about what your parents are going to think or say, or, dude, this is your thing. This is your thing. And that's what makes you happy. And if you're doing the thing that makes you happy, you're going to be a happy mother. How do you avoid them destroying your children? Don't let them around your children. Cut them out completely. Paint your house black. Do the goth thing. Do whatever you want to do. Do whatever you want to make happy. Listen, I've been with Charlene going on 10 years now. She is convinced I am walking out on her every day. Convinced. Go on my Facebook and friend request her. You and her have nearly identical stories. As a matter of fact, I would say they're identical stories. Everything in your letter that you listed happened to you, happened to her, other than the boyfriend part. I was her first boyfriend. The disgusting shit, the attacks, the bathroom, the grabbing, the touching, all of it. Some happened to me. All of it happened to her. All of it. You need to do what I'm trying to get her to do. Do whatever makes you happy personally. Being goth, dressing in black. Dude, I think that's awesome. Refurbing hearses, man. What's the next step? How do you advance on that? How do we make it bigger? What do we do? I love gothic stuff. I love Halloween. Was always my favorite holiday. I used to have the best Halloween house on the block up in New Jersey. Zombies and dude, I love that shit. I wanted to have a whole haunted house. I'd spend the year planning it out. I think that's kind of how I stayed in the marriage. One of the things that helped me stay in the marriage. And then even that didn't make me happy. Whatever it is you love doing that pisses them off, and they threw in your face, do it, wear it, own it, own it. You don't fucking control me. You don't control me, Slappy McJesus. You don't control me, Coachy McPoleSmoker. When you walk around like you own it, people buy it because most people are followers. And let me tell you something. As concerned as like what you hear kids getting engaged in high school, you know, you kind of always would roll your eyes, you know. Consider the amount of bullshit your husband has put up with dealing with your parents. Not with you, I'm not saying dealt with your bullshit. And he is stuck by you every step of the way. He ain't going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. Whatever it is you want to do it. We're black, we're trench coats, drive around in a hearse. Who cares? What's the next step though? How do you expand on that? How do you make it bigger and bolder? How do you make it so you cut your parents out completely? You don't even have to talk to him, and your father will know you're better than he is. You're doing better than he is. 60 grand. 60 grand is chicken shit. He's bragging over $60,000. Became a government worker, and he's whole. Teachers, man. Teachers. You're young. You're right where you need to be. Okay? Get rid of that car. Get rid of that car. Get some junker, get anything. Have your husband work on it together. Do it in black, make it look all gothic and whatever you want to do with it. Or however you want to do it. But own it. Own it. Like I'm trying to get her to do. So she can go back to her colored hair and put dreadlocks in and put her nose ring back in and do all the shit that she wants to do that made her happy. That's what you got to do. Because you got to make yourself happy first, Jennifer. And you got to cut these people all out of your life. You owe your parents nothing. They made their own bed. Let them fucking lie in it. Because they haven't changed one bit. They still continue to abuse you and use you at every fucking twist and turn and chance they get. So, thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you for your story. I really hope this helps. Please do everything I said in the video. Thank you for introducing me to Slappy McJesus and Coachy McPoleSmoker. They're a couple classics. They're a couple classics. Thank you to everybody who's watching. Please leave any comments or opinions in the comment section below. And again, if you have a story or a topic or a narcissist you'd like to expose on my channel, or you just like to contribute, you know what to do with the PayPal link in the description box. And if you can't contribute, send me your story anyway, and I will use it. I'll get the video right back to you. This is Ollie Matthews. Thanks for watching. See you all again soon. Bye.